Alright, welcome back. Now, last night I have seen one Supercapital lost mail. Well, not the whole thing, but I have just seen the top part of it, and it was a hell. Now, it could be that the first ever Supercapital loss was a hell, but I'm not really sure if that kill is fake or not. So, if any of you guys have more details, feel free to share with us, because I'm very curious to know if that hell was actually lost, or if it's just some smart editing. But in any case, today I will be running the Serpentis Capital test range, or Serpentis Capital test site. It has two different names, but it is the same thing. And I'll be flying the Hell. Now, the Hell alongside the Nyx have the highest DPS output out of the 4 Supercarriers. I believe in the future, when we get the faction Supercarriers, that they might pull off a slightly higher DPS output, but they might be a bit more unique. We will see what they will do with those ships if they are released, but I believe that they will be added at one point. So, the Hell is actually a very interesting ship. It is fast. Well, it is fast for a Supercapital, but it has a very nice bonus on the engine disruption burst projectors. Basically, the engine disruption burst is a fusion between a web and a scrambler, or a disruptor, but on a very large scale. Now, it does reduce the inertia, it does reduce the flight velocity by minus 25%. You get a bonus on the ship, so that's why it is enhanced. You can activate 2 of these modules simultaneously. Means that you can't activate 3 or more. They do use a lot of power grids. They also have a warp jammer strength attached to them. 37.5 per disruption burst projector, which honestly is awesome, since we have a lot of stabs nowadays. Well, if you get hit by this thing, you definitely ain't going anywhere, because that is 37.5 points per disruption burst, so that's a lot of points. 10 seconds activation time, reactivation delay 210 seconds, optimal range 250 kilometers, optimal effective range 15 kilometer, follow-up range 15 kilometer, and it lasts 64 seconds. It does use a lot of fuel. Now, this module is useful for PvP and PvE, because in PvE it can actually slow down the targets, which makes them easier to hit. Now, since I'll be doing PvE today, this is going to be more of a PvE focused build, but it can also be used as a PvP build. But in PvP, I would go with let's say a more tanky build. But in a fleet, if you have logistic ships, you can easily go DPS if you like. Now, I have the defense disruption burst. This basically reduces the tank of the targets, minus 45% shield, minus 45% armor. It also has the reactivation delay and activation time of 10 seconds and 210 seconds, range 200 kilometers. It doesn't have a bonus on the module, but it still does help at doing more damage to targets, and since I'm going to be doing PvE today, this module is going to be very helpful. In the medium slots, I have the good old Disruptor, the Swarm Supercarrier cover module, which is one of the best modules in the game right now. A very crucial module if you want to use the Supercarriers, because it does boost shield, repair armor, and it does repair the hull. It also does act like a capacitor battery or a capacitor booster, recharging your capacitor basically all the time. It also does transfer the damage, and it also uses a lot of fuel, but a lot less fuel than the high slot modules. Have the shield command bursts, skirmish command bursts, a wide range wave simulator. I use this because I need to scout, I need to find the site before I can actually run the site. As for the fighters, I have heavy fighters equipped. So far, they have been doing a very good job. They have a very interesting optimal. Let me quickly show you the ship stats of the Hell, especially on the fighters. So It has a bonus on fighter damage, fighter explosion velocity, fighter effective hit points, flight velocity, and fighter inertia modifier. So you get a damage application bonus on the hull, which means that the light fighters on this ship will be really lethal. And you have a good chance to do a lot of damage to the smaller targets if you're using the light fighters, but the heavy fighters will still struggle to apply the damage against anything that's smaller than a battleship or a carrier in most cases. Now, in the low slots, I'll do something different today. I'll be focusing more on the DPS. Now, I'm not really sure if the ship will handle that. That's going to be fun to find out. But I'm definitely not going to go full glass. Now, it has some decent shield resistance by default, and it has a lot of shield volume. So, for the rigs, now in the engineering rigs I have the classic capacitor combo. This is, I believe this is the best thing to fit for all the capital ships and for all the supercapitals, because you need capacitor more than anything. Now, I'll be using one burst, and I'll add a second burst, which will increase the DPS of the fighters. Now I have 63,728.70 DPS. Well, that's a pretty good value. Now, I will be borrowing some of the rigs from the Wyvern, and my idea here is to try and fuse tank and DPS. And so far I have only been using the tank builds with integrations. I want to do something a little bit different with the health. So let me see. This is all of these rigs are the same, so shouldn't be a big problem. Let me pull this one out as well. Alright, now we have two integrations that will be added in the place of those two empty slots. I might actually just add one and add a third burst adapter just to see how the ship handles the sights. Let me see. Okay, anti-capital explosive, thermal, anti-EM, and yeah, I'll equip this one. Okay, now that gave me some. Yeah, that's a decent boost. Okay, I think that should be enough. Let's go with the third burst. Oh, okay, so I have one integration and 3 DPS. Rig 68,625.07 DPS. Perfect. Now the implant that will be used on the hull will be the Bombard Tactic implant. And let me just quickly show you the general units. Basically the same implant that I have been using on the previous Supercapitals. I don't have to recharge the implant. It is still in a good durability state. Let me undock and let me show you the active stats. Now don't worry, I did not forget to load the fuel. The hull is loaded with fuel, so fuel is not going to be a problem right now on this thing. Alright, so let's stop the ship. And now first let me properly adjust all the modules, because I know that it is a mess. There's so many modules, and I actually haven't had a chance to talk to the developers about some of the things that would be good to be changed. But in any case, let me enable that one adaptive. Let's turn on the skirmish. Alright, everything that should be active. Now, oh, my apologies. Now everything that should be active is active. Alright, let's take a look at now the DPS is 94,115.08, which is pretty good. 72, 72, 71, and 83% resistance. Yeah, it should pass. That's actually really good, since this is a fusion between tank and DPS. 11 minutes is the capacitor. Now this is actually not true. The capacitor is capacitor stable, but for some reason the calculations are not the best. So let me scan, and we can immediately jump in that site that is nearby. Alright, signal is should be very easy to crack. Yeah, I got pretty skilled at this. Alright, warping. I'm actually very interested to see how this monster will perform. Now with the Dromoms, the DPS is basically tripled. So technically I have about 250, 370. Actually, let me just do the math on the calculator real quick. I'm a little bit tired, so my apologies if my about 288,000 DPS I have at the moment on the hell. So I think that should be enough. That is roughly about the same as what I had on the Nyx. Although the Nyx has that DPS shreds bonus, which does help at applying even more damage than the hell. And I think I just messed up. I warped at 0, so I might get bumped here. This is why you don't warp at 0. If you warp at 0, you will collide with the gate. And let me try to enter before I get bumped. Enter. Enter! No, I got bumped! Okay. Yeah, this is why you don't warp at 0. You land, you get bumped. Lovely. I completely forgot about that. Oh well, anyway. Let's see if I did manage to click jump before I got yeeted off the gate here. Let me just double check while I wait. So 68,000 coal, 24 million hit points, 69. Actually 69, 69, 68 and 81. Alright, that's interesting. So I did manage to jump, perfect. But yeah, never warp at 0. If you're doing this, never warp at 0 because you will get bumped, and that is kind of unpleasant. Alright, and here we are in the test site. Perfect.
We're under attack.
Let's load the bombs. No, the targets will be Serpentis ships in most cases. Okay, let me turn all the modules on. Skirmish active. Primary target will be the Ninazu, because they're nasty. They do repair a lot of hit points, so they have to be focused as the primary targets right from the start, basically. Okay. Now, so far, if I have to choose between a Supercapital, I would most likely go with the Wyvern. And I talked with a lot of players. I did help a lot of players to choose their Supercapital, and it's not as easy as it sounds, because each one of these ships is unique in their own way, and the main traits of the Hell is its amazing DPS. The Hell has really good DPS, and the only Supercarrier that has more DPS than the Hell is the Nyx, but that's mostly because of the DPS shredding effect that it has. Now, I forgot to adjust the optimal orbiting distance, 12.5 kilometers. Let me just do that real quick. Orbit for drone, 12 kilometers. Okay. Next target will be the Moros. Although, in my case, since I'm fairly sure that the Titans will be released in about a month from now, I would actually say that I would wait to get a Titan, because Titans can kill supercarriers, although they're two different ships. The Titans are used to fight other supercapitals and fight other Titans. Meanwhile, the supercarriers can fight with the supercapitals, and they also can fight with the normal capitals, and they can also fight with the subcapitals. So in the end, it's a very I would say a very tough choice. But if you have skills for the for carriers, then you can easily go with the super carriers because you can take advantage of the skills. Now, I'm kind of curious to know if Titans will use Dreadnought skills, or if they will have their own skills. That's something that I still haven't figured out yet, but I would say that they might have their own skills, because after all, it is a Titan. But at the same time, when you look at things from a different angle, the Titan is basically, well, a big Dreadnought, and the Super Carrier is basically just a big carrier. So there's a good chance that the Titans might require the Dreadnought skills, but we will see. I mean, there is still time. Now, right from the start, I can tell you that I can feel the DPS increase. I can definitely feel the DPS increase on this boat. Definitely has 2 times more DPS than the previous super carrier that I was flying. But still, I believe the Nyx will be the king of DPS. Now, something I forgot to... Actually, I didn't forget. I talked about it. But every fighter has different traits. Now, the Galante fighters, in this case, they're called Cyclops. I still didn't really remember their names. They have the highest DPS, and they do thermal. The Minmatar fighters, the Tyrfigs, they do a little bit less damage, but they are very fast. And then you have the Amar and Kaldir ones, which also have their unique damage types, and they have also their unique stats. And I do like that they have changed how these things work. They have changed drones quite a lot throughout this year. Now, I know that drones were let's say the buggiest weapon type in the game, and they still do have some issues occasionally, but drones and overall fighters in general are really strong now, especially with the drone bombs. I mean, I don't say this lightly, but fighters with the drone bombs and drones in general are, I would say, the most powerful weapon that you can have right now, because the drone bombs haven't been nerfed. They have never been nerfed, and the bombs are as powerful as they were on day 1 of the implant release. And that is kind of scary when you think about it. Scary because you still get the same insane DPS boost as you used to back when the implants were freshly introduced in the game. Although, as I keep saying, they will nerf it, and they will nerf it very soon probably. So use the implant and enjoy the implant until it lasts, because at one point it will be nerfed, and it has to be nerfed, because it is ridiculous how strong those drone bombs at the moment are. Right, well, the second wave is about to spawn. My apologies if the frame rate drops occasionally. It is so hot where I'm living right now, and my room is a furnace, and I'm actually cooking. Well, I'm cooking. Can you imagine how the tablet feels if I'm already overheating? My brain is overheating, and the tablet is overheating as well. I think I'll just quickly go and gets a cooler real quick because I can't play with this horrible frame rate. So 1 second. I'll just fix the frame rate real quick. Okay, sorry for the weird cut. So now the lag should be gone. Now let me just quickly enter the not Discord. Did not want to enter Discord. Where is the simple system monitor? There it is. Alright, just to monitor the temperature. 83 degrees 83 degrees Celsius. Jesus, that's a lot. Okay, now let me focus down the capitals. The Ninazo has been destroyed. Both of the shield boosters are up and running so far. However, the tank is a little bit on shaky legs, I think. Yeah, everything is both the boosters are working. Well, I might be in trouble in this run. Now this is completely solo. There is no logi, there is no support, so I have to rely on the ship for as much as I can, for as long as I can. But I think you can actually jump out even if you are scrambled, so it shouldn't be a big problem. It will also be a very, I would say, fun test to see how a DPS focused build would hold in a site like this. Now I know that this is definitely not meant to be done with a single ship, but that's not going to stop me from doing something silly like this. So we will see how much the Hell can tank. Now the Hell doesn't have any bonus on shield resistance. It has a bonus more on the DPS side. The Wyvern and the Eon both have a bonus on. The Eon has a bonus on armor. The Wyvern has a bonus on shield, and they can actually do quite well with a build like this. Now my resistances are not that bad. 27 million hit points, 72, 72, 71, and 83%. Which I would say is pretty okay. However, the tank is on shaky legs, as I already mentioned, but seems to be holding at 83%. Now I will keep the fighters that are shooting at me. They're doing thermal and they're doing kinetic. Now my thermal and kinetic is 72, 71, so it's about the same as everything else. Very high stats on explosive, but that's not going to be of any importance for this site. Alright, this is the last carrier of this wave. Now, while the ship does feel less tanky, it definitely does a lot more damage than the Eon or Wyvern, and I mean that's to be expected after all. After all, the Hell is built for the DPS part. However, it can still be quite tanky. Now, what was I talking about before I left to get a cooler for my tablets? I think I was talking about Titans. So, if I were to get a Titan, it would probably be the big mushroom, well, the Avatar. Although the price of a Titan is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Those things are going to be next level expensive. Now down the road, the price of these ships will definitely go down. They will become cheaper, but on day one, they will be quite expensive. Someone told me about 2.5 to 3 trillion ISK for a Titan. They are going to be very big boats and very big targets. Wonder how the first Titan will be destroyed. Now, speaking about the first Titan destroyed, the first ever Supercapital is supposedly a hell that got destroyed. However, as I mentioned on the start of the video, I'm not really sure if that's a fake kill mail, because I didn't see the ID, I didn't see anything basically. It was cropped and it only showed the player name and the player ship, so could be a ship that got yeeted for the lols in the dormant realm, or could be a legit loss. Now if it was a PvP loss, that would be all over the place, and we would already hear about that. But since I haven't been able to find out anything about that anywhere, could be a dormant loss, but at the same time also could very well be a troll kill mail. It's possible. So if you guys know anything about the first, if you know anything about that hell, feel free to tell me. I'm very curious to know if it's a real loss or if it's a troll, because the player who supposedly lost it is known to have lost a bunch of Phoenix dreadnoughts, expensive ones, and they also lost some of the older ships. That's the only thing that made the kill look legit, because I know the player who supposedly lost it, but I haven't really heard anything more about that. So if you have any information and intel, feel free to tell. Also, it's kind of funny because a couple days ago I talked about the plans for a Supercapital to be tackled. I don't know if it happened. I think it didn't, but yeah, definitely still keep an eye out for that one, because these ships are very big and very valuable targets, as I like to say. So we're about to go into the next wave. This is the third wave. Not really sure how long the site will be up. So far all of the previous sites have collapsed within about 40 minutes, 40-ish minutes, around that time.
We're under attack.
But since I'm clearing this a little bit faster than usual, I think I might be able to
We're under attack.
to get to the Supercapital stage. Now let me quickly lock on all of these carriers first, and force auxiliaries. First I have to kill the force auxiliaries because they are nasty. They can be very, very nasty, so they have to be destroyed first. Then I'll focus on the other capitals and in other ships. Alright, that should do it. Let's launch the special modules on them. Both boosters up and running. I'm at 88% shield. It's holding. Tank seems to be holding. Capacitor at 63%. Okay, I could, let me just use the capacitor battery real quick, just so that I do get the main capacitor recharged a little bit. But that DPS is nasty. Just look at how much damage I do to that ship. And of course the DPS shred does help a lot. So total I'm doing about perhaps 500,000 DPS on this hell right now. About that. Perhaps about 45 to 40,000 DPS, which honestly is still really good and quite scary. Quite scary, honestly. That's a lot of DPS. there is another Thanatos, another Moros, Shadow Moros. That's something I haven't seen in a very long time. Serpentis Moros. Let's take a look at the ships. I really do like how they made the scenery and the background work. I mean, it looks awesome, honestly. It honestly looks pretty good. You can see the asteroids, the minerals, and everything. You actually can theoretically mine these things. Now, I'm not really sure if anyone would mine this, but you can technically mine the special sites. That's kind of funny if you think about it. Here's the Thanatos, also a beautiful ship. Drone bombs are going to be launched. Alright, drone bombs launched. I think the dreadnoughts do the most amount of damage, but I'll just go one by one. Shield at 69%, okay. So my shield is slowly going down. The tank is supposedly failing. They have a lot of Nosferatus, and they also have a lot of webs, so they have Serpentis webs, but you do get a bonus to 75% slowdown or web resistance. So the webs are not going to be as effective as they would be on some of the other ships. And I accidentally turned off this module, so let me, that's going to be, did not want to turn off the module. That was a misclick. Why is everything misclicking today? Nothing is working properly. So I have to rely on the capacitor battery now. Lovely, because the 300-second cooldown. Yikes. Shield at 60%. However, the DPS is still flawless. So, and they also use dampeners. I forgot to mention it. They use a lot of dampeners, but it's not going to be a big problem since most of the targets are going to be capitals. So it is going to lock them on very quickly regardless. So again, not a big problem. Next target will be the Shadow Thanatos. Let me launch the special modules at them. 64 ships are shooting at me. Alright, that's interesting. 55% shield and falling down. Again, it is going on quite slowly, so it should not be a big problem so far. We will see what will happen. 54%, 53%. I'm actually very interested to see how much damage it will take at peak recharge, since you know that these things have a lot of shields and they do recharge that shield really quickly, especially after you go into a low shield. Then when you hit peak recharge, then that's when the fun begins, because you will see how fast it will boost that shield back passively. By the way, it's passive recharge combined with a active tank. 49, 50% shield. Okay, so far so good. Seems to be holding about 50% so far. I'm trying to focus down the carriers one by one. Capacitor 43%. It is dropping because I accidentally turned off the cover module, which can serve to show you how important the cover module is. As long as the cover module is active, you will have enough capacitor for the repairs or for the ship boosters to be running 24/7. And that is awesome. That is honestly really helpful. One of the best modules in the game, if you ask me. Now, the game is stalling me because I can't really click properly, because this menu just collapses and it doesn't recognize when I double tap on the Thanatos, which should be the next target. 44% shield. Okay, it's getting a little bit dangerous here. This is with 71% shield resistance, 72, 71, which is not bad. It's actually really good. But they do so much DPS that it does kinda require you to have a lot more logis or a lot more resistances. That's why I did fit my previous ships the way I did, just because of the DPS that these ships do deliver. Although I also have some good DPS, so I'm also clearing this a little bit faster.
Warning, capacitor running low.
Now if I lose armor, then I will activate the panic button on hull, and when the panic button runs out, I will jump. If they do get my ship to armor, which I don't think it will happen, but you know, 37% shield, 36, both boosters going full power, capacitor at 29%, and it's also dropping. The cover module will kick in a second, so the capacitor should go back to full performance very soon. That DPS that I'm doing on that dreadnought is absolutely insane, and it can even have more DPS. This is not the... Wait, what? This was fast. This was actually the what happened? Why did it collapse so quickly? Alright, well, this was definitely unexpected. Did not expect this to shut down this quickly. But in any case, that was a very interesting little test there. Got a little bit worried about the ship, and this is the reason why I pick a tank build when I'm running these sites, because I mean, you can go with a glass build if you like, and I would say go with a glass build if you have logistics, because then you can rely on your friends to keep your ship alive. But if you don't have a big fleet, then I would say having a tank build is definitely the way to go. However, we will see how the next site will perform. Again, I don't know how this closed so quickly. I expected it to last a little bit longer, but I did clear the site a little bit faster with the hell, and you could definitely notice the DPS difference between this build and the previous builds that I used. So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed this little run with the hell. Next time I'll be running the Sancha one, which I believe is the last one, but we will see. Either the Sancha is the last one or there is one more. So, with that being said, hope you enjoyed. If you want to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.